The Korean Mafia boss watched his pregnant African wife disappear beneath the water, pushed by the very woman who gave birth to him, and in that frozen second before the splash settled, everyone present understood the truth. Someone had just signed their own death warrant, and it wasn't the woman drowning. He didn't hesitate. The moment his pregnant African wife hit the water, he jumped in after her. Seung Woo Shik was 20 feet away, mid-conversation with Elder Minute about territorial disputes, when he saw it happen. His mother's hand on Juliet's shoulder. The push. The fall. Everything slowed. The splash hadn't even settled when he was moving, not walking, not running, but moving with the kind of speed that bypasses thought entirely. Pure instinct. Pure terror. He hit the pool in a $3,000 suit, Italian leather shoes, the Glock in his shoulder holster. None of it mattered. The water was cold, but he didn't care. His hands found Juliet immediately. She was sinking, eyes wide with shock, one hand clutching her stomach. He grabbed her waist, pulled her up, and broke the surface. She gasped, coughing water, shaking violently. "The baby, Seung, the baby. I've got you." His voice was steady even though his hands trembled. "Breathe. Just breathe. I've got you." He swam to the edge, lifted her out with strength born from adrenaline, then hauled himself up after her. Water streamed from both of them, pooling on the expensive stone patio. The gathered crowd, 50 people, every major player in Seoul's Underworld, all the allied families, all the elders, stood frozen. Silent. Witnessing. Seung knelt beside Juliet, his hands checking her face, her arms, settling finally on her swollen belly. 6 months pregnant. 6 months of life that his mother had just tried to drown. "Can you breathe? Are you hurt?" Juliet nodded, still coughing, her hands covering his on her stomach. "I'm okay. We're okay." Only then did Seung look up. His mother stood 5 feet away, frozen in the exact spot where she'd pushed. Her face cycled through emotions, shock, defiance, then the slow, dawning realization that she just made a catastrophic mistake. The entire garden held its breath. Seung stood slowly. Water dripped from his hair, his clothes, his hands that still trembled not from cold, but from the effort of controlling the violence building inside him. When he spoke, his voice was quiet. Lethally quiet. "You pushed my pregnant wife into a pool." His mother's mouth opened. No sound came out. "You, my mother, pushed my pregnant wife into a pool." He said it again, as if testing the reality of it. As if giving her a chance to deny it. She didn't. Instead, she found her voice. "It was an accident, she provoked me, you don't understand what she—" "Get out." His mother blinked. "What? Get out." Each word was a bullet. "Leave this garden. Leave Seoul, because if I see you again, I won't be responsible for what happens." The crowd's collective inhale was audible. "I'm your mother." Seung took one step toward her. Just one. But something in his face made her step back. "A mother protects her children," he said. "A grandmother protects her grandchildren. You just tried to kill mine. You're not my mother. You're an attempted murderer I happen to share blood with." "Seung, please," her voice broke. "I didn't mean." It was a moment of anger. "You had 6 months to control your anger. 6 months to accept my wife. 6 months to decide if you wanted to be part of our family." His hand gestured to Juliet behind him, still sitting on the stone, still shaking. "You just made your choice. Now live with it." He turned to Elder Minute, who stood frozen with the others. "Call a doctor. Now." Then he turned to the rest of the gathered crowd, every lieutenant, every allied family head, every person who'd come to witness this display of family unity. "This gathering is over. Anyone who stands with her stands against me." No one moved toward his mother. No one even looked at her. The silence was complete. Total. The kind of silence that rewrites history. Seung turned his back on his mother, the woman who'd raised him, built him, controlled every aspect of his life for 35 years, and knelt beside his wife again. "Can you walk? We need to get you checked." Juliet nodded. He helped her stand, kept his arm around her waist, and began walking her toward their car. Behind them, his mother stood alone in the garden. No one approached her. No one offered comfort. She'd pushed the wrong woman. And everyone there knew, Seung Woo Shik had just chosen his wife over his mother, his future over his past, love over obligation. The Korean Mafia had just watched their king burn down his own bloodline. For an African woman carrying his child. The whispers would start within the hour. The power plays would begin by tomorrow. Rivals would see opportunity in this fracture. But in that moment, walking Juliet to the car, Seung felt something he hadn't felt in years. Absolute certainty. As they reached the car, Juliet looked up at him. Your suit is ruined. I don't care. Your mother is no longer my mother. Seung. He stopped, turned her to face him. You and this child are my family now. She tried to kill you. That ends everything. Do you understand? Juliet's eyes filled with tears. Everyone saw. Everyone knows now. Good. He opened the car door for her. Let them know. Let them all know exactly where I stand. The driver pulled away, leaving the garden, the gathering, and his mother behind. In the rearview mirror, Seung saw her alone on the patio, surrounded by people who wouldn't look at her, drowning in consequences while completely dry. He didn't look back again. 2 years earlier. The International Pharmaceutical Summit in Seoul was exactly as boring as Seung Woo Shik expected it to be. He stood in the back of the auditorium, arms crossed, watching a German executive drone on about supply chain optimization. Around him, pharmaceutical executives from 40 countries pretended to pay attention while mentally calculating profit margins and market share. Seung wasn't here to learn about pharmaceuticals. He was here because his organization controlled distribution networks across East Asia, and knowing who was trying to enter his territory was good business. He was about to leave when a woman in the third row raised her hand. Your model assumes stable governance and predictable infrastructure, she said, her accent carrying the particular precision of British-educated Nigerian English. In Abuja, we've learned that assumptions are where Western businesses go to die. The German executive blinked. I'm sorry. She stood. Your entire presentation is built on Western infrastructure models. Roads that work. Customs that are predictable. Officials who stay bribed. In my city, the supply chain isn't a line, it's a living organism that adapts every single day, or it dies. Your model would collapse in a week. Well, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying you should present this as supply chain optimization for stable markets instead of emerging markets. Because what works in Berlin doesn't work in Abuja. Not even close. She sat down. The executive stammered through the rest of his presentation. Seung was now very interested. It took him 20 minutes to discover her name, Juliet Miller, 32, representing her father's pharmaceutical distribution empire in Abuja. It took another 2 hours to engineer a meeting that didn't look like stalking. He found her at the networking reception, examining the catering with obvious disappointment. The food is terrible, he said in English, approaching from her left so she could see him coming. She didn't look at him. The food is adequate. My expectations are just unreasonable. Juliet Miller. He still didn't extend his hand, something told him she'd appreciate the lack of forced formality. Your presentation breakdown was impressive. She finally turned, evaluating him with the kind of directness that most people in his world had learned to avoid. Seung Woo Shik. Your organization increased distribution efficiency by 40% last year. Either you found better routes or you eliminated competition. I'm guessing both. He smiled. Genuinely smiled, which surprised him. You research people who impress you. I research people who might be useful or dangerous. She picked up her wine glass. You're both. I'd like to discuss a potential partnership. No. She set the glass down. You'd like to absorb my father's network into yours. The answer is no, but I appreciate the directness. She started to walk away. Dinner, he said. Not business. Just conversation. She paused, turned back. Why? Because in 15 years, you're the first person who's spoken to me like I'm a man instead of a myth. Juliet studied him for 5 long seconds. Tomorrow. 8 p.m. You choose the restaurant, but if it's pretentious, I'm walking out. She left before he could respond. Seung chose a small Korean-Nigerian fusion restaurant in Itaewon, run by a chef who'd married a woman from Abuja. It was the opposite of pretentious. Juliet arrived exactly on time, wearing a simple dress that somehow made every other woman in the restaurant look overdressed. "Good choice," she said, sitting down. "I was prepared to leave. I noticed you don't bluff. Neither do you. So let's not waste time." She leaned forward. "What do you want?" "Honestly," Seung considered lying, decided against it. "I don't know. I came to this summit to scout competition. Then you demolished that presentation, and I realized I've spent 15 years surrounded by people who are either afraid of me or trying to use me. You're neither. You want friendship." She sounded skeptical. "I want conversation with someone who sees me as a person." Juliet sat back, reassessing. "That's unexpectedly honest. I find honesty saves time." They talked for 5 hours. About empire building and family obligation. About the weight of inherited expectations and the cost of defying them. She told him about Abuja, the complexity, the resilience, the way her father had built something from nothing in a system designed to crush ambition. He told her about his mother, the architect of his empire, the woman who'd never let him choose anything, including his own happiness. "So you're a puppet," she said, not unkindly. "I was," he corrected. "Until about 5 hours ago." She studied him across the table. "This is dangerous. You know that. Everything worth having is. I mean for you. I can handle my father. Can you handle your mother?" Seung thought about that question. Really thought about it. "No," he said finally. "But I'm going to anyway." The next 3 months were a masterclass in pursuit and resistance. Seung followed Juliet across 3 continents, not with flowers and poetry, but with presence and attention. He showed up in Abuja, in London, in Dubai. Always respectful. Always patient. Always making it clear, this wasn't a game. He met her father in Abuja, sitting in the older man's office while ceiling fans stirred humid air and city noise filtered through open windows. Chief Miller poured whiskey despite the morning hour. "My daughter says you're serious." "I am, sir. Your mother will oppose this." "She already does." The chief studied him. "In Abuja, we have a saying, a man who cannot stand alone cannot stand with another. Can you stand alone, Seung Woo Shik?" "I'm about to find out." Chief Miller smiled. "Good answer. Juliet deserves a man who chooses her, not one who settles." Back in Seoul, opposition crystallized into open warfare. His mother called an emergency meeting. Seung walked into the conference room to find 12 men around the table, his most trusted lieutenants, the organization's elders, the architects of his power. His mother stood at the head like a general. "This ends now," she said without preamble. "The African woman is a distraction. I've arranged 3 suitable matches." "No." The room went silent. "I'm going to marry Juliet Miller. I'm informing you out of respect, not asking for permission." His mother's face hardened. "You would choose a stranger over your own mother? Over everything I built? You built an empire. She sees me as a man. Those aren't the same thing." Elder Minute spoke carefully. "Seung the practical implications, the traditionalist families can adapt or leave. This could cost us 30% of our alliances. Then we'll build new ones." His mother slammed her hand on the table. "If you do this, you're choosing her over everything I've sacrificed. You sacrificed for control, not love. I'm choosing partnership over possession." He looked directly at his mother. "We are not the same." He walked out. By morning, 2 elders had resigned. 3 allied families threatened to withdraw support. His mother stopped speaking to him entirely. Seung didn't blink. He proposed to Juliet in her Hong Kong hotel room on a Tuesday, with no ring and no ceremony. "Marry me." She looked up from her laptop. "That's not a question." "Marry me," he repeated. "My mother will oppose us. My empire will fracture. Half my organization thinks I'm making a catastrophic mistake. Marry me anyway." "Why should I?" "Because you're the first person who sees me as I am. Because I see you as an equal. Because we could build something neither of us could build alone." Juliet closed her laptop. Your mother will try to destroy me. I know. Your organization will test me. I know. This won't be easy. Nothing worth having is. She smiled. Yes. Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. The wedding was set for 6 months later. Seung insisted on a fusion ceremony, Korean and Nigerian traditions woven together, neither dominant, both honored. His mother refused to attend. She made her opposition public, telling the elders, "This marriage will destroy everything. The African woman is manipulating him." Seung responded by cutting off all contact. No calls. No meetings. No intermediaries. She's your mother, his head of security, Seo Ho, said carefully. She was my mother, Seung corrected. Now she's an obstacle. Half the traditional families declined the wedding invitation. Financial analysts predicted the Shik empire would collapse within a year. The whispers started, his chosen love over power. His compromised. His finished. Seung heard every whisper. Didn't care about a single one. The wedding day arrived with autumn sun painting soul gold. Juliet walked down the aisle in white silk and gold Nigerian embroidery, traditional and revolutionary at once. Seung wore a hanbok modified with patterns honoring her heritage. His mother's empty seat in the front row was the loudest presence in the room. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, the silence was absolute. They exchanged vows in 2 languages, Korean, English. They became husband and wife in front of everyone who had the courage to stay. That night, Juliet asked him, "Do you regret it?" The empty seat. Seung considered lying. Decided against it. "I regret that she made me choose. I don't regret the choice. They'll come for me. Use me to break you. Let them try." He pulled her close. "They'll learn what I already know." "What's that?" "That you're not my weakness. You're the reason I'm finally dangerous." The first 6 months of marriage proved him right. Juliet integrated into the organization not as decoration but as strategist. She reorganized international logistics, spotted inefficiencies, increased profit margins by 25% in 3 months. His men began reporting to her out of respect, not obligation. But his mother's opposition didn't fade. It calcified into something harder. She spread rumors. The African woman is manipulating him. She's made him soft. He's not the man he was. Seung shut down every whisper with surgical precision. Lieutenants who repeated the rumors found themselves reassigned to powerless positions. Allied families who questioned the marriage found their shipments delayed indefinitely. The message was clear: Juliet is not negotiable. 8 months into the marriage, Juliet discovered she was pregnant. She told him in the morning, in their bedroom, with sunlight streaming through windows overlooking the city they were remaking together. "I'm pregnant." Seung froze for exactly 3 seconds. Then he smiled, truly smiled, in a way his inner circle claimed impossible. "We're having a child." "We are." He pulled her close, hand settling on her still flat stomach. "They're going to use this. See it as opportunity. I know. I'll protect you. Both of you. I didn't marry you to be protected. I married you to build something together." She pulled back to look at him. "That includes this. Then we protect each other." The news reached his mother through the organization's gossip network. She saw it immediately. This was her last chance. A pregnancy meant permanence. It meant Seung would never leave. It meant she'd lost. Unless she could prove Juliet was a liability. Unless she could demonstrate this marriage was destroying him. She began planning. 3 months later, she announced a mandatory family gathering. Every organization member, every allied family, every elder all required to attend. A show of unity, she called it. Seung's lieutenants warned him immediately. "Boss," Seo Ho said carefully, "your mother is planning something. Don't bring Juliet." Seung looked up from security reports. "If I hide my wife, I'm admitting she doesn't belong. She belongs everywhere I am. She's 6 months pregnant. Which is exactly why she's coming. They need to see that she's not negotiable. Not now. Not ever." Juliet, listening from the doorway, spoke. "I don't need to prove anything. Seung turned to her. You're not proving anything. I am. She considered this. Then we go together. Together, he agreed. The day arrived with spring warmth and manufactured formality. The estate gardens were arranged for maximum display, traditional Korean architecture, formal seating, every detail calculated to emphasize hierarchy and tradition. Seung and Juliet arrived together. His hand never left the small of her back as they walked through the gardens. Every eye tracked their movement, the Korean Mafia boss and his pregnant African wife. Defiance incarnate. His mother held court near the main pavilion, surrounded by traditionalists. She wore white, the Korean color of mourning. The message was obvious. Juliet navigated the gathering with practiced grace. She spoke Korean to the elders, Igbo to the few Nigerians present, English to everyone else. She discussed business with the men, culture with the women, refused to be diminished. Seung watched her work the room and felt something fierce settle in his chest. His mother watched too. Saw her power slipping with every person Juliet charmed. An hour into the gathering, Elder Park pulled Seung aside to discuss territorial disputes. Routine business. Seung positioned himself where he could still see Juliet by the pool, talking with a lieutenant's wife. His mother moved toward her target like a chess piece advancing. Juliet stood near the pool's edge, one hand resting on her stomach in that unconscious gesture of pregnancy. She was laughing when his mother appeared beside her. The conversation started quiet. Seung couldn't hear the words, but he could read the body language. His mother, aggressive. Juliet, firm but not retreating. Then his mother's voice rose just enough to carry, "You think you've won." Juliet's response was equally clear, "I don't think." "I know." Seung started moving. Too slow. The push was instinctive rage overriding calculation. Juliet fell backward. Hit the water. And Seung Woo Shik stopped being a mafia boss and became simply a man whose wife was drowning. He jumped. The water closed over his head. And when he surfaced with Juliet in his arms, the man who climbed out of that pool was different from the one who jumped in. Because he just made a choice that couldn't be unmade. And everyone there, every lieutenant, every elder, every allied family, every rival, watched him make it. The Korean mafia boss chose his wife. Over his mother. Over tradition. Over everything. And the underworld would never forget. The doctor arrived within 15 minutes. Seung had carried Juliet to a nearby hospital, away from the stunned crowd, away from his mother who still stood frozen by the pool, away from the whispers already beginning to spread like wildfire. He sat beside Juliet on the bed, still dripping pool water onto expensive carpet, his hand never leaving hers while the doctor examined her. "The baby's heartbeat is strong," Dr. Choi said, moving the portable ultrasound wand across Juliet's stomach. "No signs of distress. Your wife is in shock, but physically, both mother and child appear stable." Seung's exhale was the first breath he'd taken properly since seeing Juliet fall. "She needs rest," Dr. Choi continued. "No stress. Complete bed rest for at least 48 hours. After a trauma like this." "Trauma?" Seung's voice was flat. "My mother pushed my pregnant wife into a pool. That's not trauma. That's attempted murder." Dr. Choi wisely said nothing. Juliet's hand tightened on Seung's. "I'm okay. We're okay. You could have died. The baby could have." He stopped, jaw clenching. "She tried to kill you both. I know. And she'll pay for it." Juliet looked at him, really looked at him. Saw something in his eyes that hadn't been there before. Something cold and final. "What are you going to do?" "What I should have done the moment she refused to accept you." He stood, leaned down to kiss her forehead. "Rest. I'll handle this. Seung. Trust me." She did. That was the problem. She trusted him completely, and she knew exactly what he was capable of when someone threatened his family. He walked out of the room, water still dripping from his ruined suit. Seo Ho was waiting in the hallway with 3 other senior lieutenants. "Boss," Seo Ho said carefully. "The guests are asking. Send them home. The gathering is over. Your mother is demanding to speak with you." "No. She's saying it was an accident." Seung turned to face him. "Did it look like an accident to you?" Seung Ho held his gaze for a moment, then shook his head. No, sir. Then we're done discussing it. Seung started walking toward his office. Get me Elder Minute, Elder Kim, and Elder Cho. We're having a meeting. Now. The three elders arrived within the hour, summoned from the dispersing gathering. They entered Seung's office to find him changed into a dry suit, seated behind his desk with the kind of calm that preceded violence. Sit, Seung said. They Saturday. Elder Minute spoke first. Seung, what happened today? What happened today, Seung interrupted, is that my mother attempted to murder my wife and unborn child in front of 50 witnesses. What happens next is she faces consequences. Elder Kim shifted uncomfortably. Your mother claims it was an accident. That Juliet provoked her, and in a moment of anger. Stop. Seung's voice was a blade. I don't care what she claims. I saw what happened. So did everyone else in that garden. She pushed a pregnant woman into a pool. Deliberately. That's not anger. That's intent to harm. Elder Cho, the oldest and most traditional of the three, spoke carefully. She is still your mother. The bond between mother and son ended the moment her hands touched my wife. Seung stood, placed both palms flat on his desk. I'm calling an emergency council. Tomorrow. Every elder, every senior lieutenant. I want a formal vote on her status in this organization. A vote on what, exactly? Elder Park asked, though his tone suggested he already knew. Exile. Complete and permanent. Removal from all positions of power, confiscation of all assets purchased with organization funds, revocation of the Shik family name in any official capacity. The room went silent. That's essentially erasing her, Elder Kim said slowly. Yes. Seung, this is extreme. Is it? Seung's voice rose for the first time. She tried to kill my wife. She tried to kill my child. In what world is exile extreme? She's your mother. A mother protects her children. The words came out like gunshots. A grandmother protects her grandchildren. She did the opposite. She's not my mother anymore. She's a threat that I'm neutralizing. Elder Cho stood slowly. If you do this, there's no going back. No reconciliation. No forgiveness. Good. Seung met his eyes. I want everyone to understand, Juliet is my family now. Anyone who threatens her, anyone, I don't care who they are, will face the same consequences. Some of the traditionalist families won't accept this. Then they can leave. Seung sat back down. I'm done compromising. I'm done pretending my mother's hatred is somehow acceptable because she's family. She made her choice when she pushed Juliet. Now I'm making mine. The three elders exchanged glances. Finally, Elder Minute nodded. We'll convene the council tomorrow morning. Thank you. Seung's voice returned to its normal calm. One more thing. My mother is not to come near the estate, near my home, or near my wife. If she tries, security has orders to remove her. By force if necessary. After they left, Seung sat alone in his office for a long moment. Then he picked up his phone and made a call. It's me, he said when his mother answered. Don't speak. Just listen. You have until tomorrow morning to leave Seoul. After the council vote, you'll have nothing, no money, no protection, no name. Take what you can carry and disappear. If you're still in this city by noon tomorrow, I'll make sure you regret it. His mother's voice came through, desperate. Seung, please, let me explain. There's nothing to explain. You pushed my pregnant wife into a pool. That's all I need to know. It was a moment of weakness. I was angry. She was so arrogant. She was right to be. She's everything you're not. Strong, intelligent, worthy of respect. He paused. Goodbye, mother. Don't contact me again. He hung up before she could respond. The council convened at 9 a.m. in the main hall of the estate. 12 elders. 20 senior lieutenants. Every major decision-maker in the Shik organization. His mother was not invited. She was not present. She was the subject, not a participant. Seung stood at the head of the table, Seung Ho beside him with a tablet containing security footage and documentation. Thank you all for coming on short notice. Seung began. Yesterday, my mother pushed my wife, who is 6 months pregnant, into a pool during the family gathering. You all witnessed it. What you're about to see is the security camera footage from 3 different angles. Seo Ho played the videos. The room watched in silence as the footage showed the confrontation by the pool. His mother's aggressive posture. Juliet's calm responses. Then the push, clear, deliberate, unmistakable. As you can see, Seung continued, this was not an accident. This was an intentional act of violence against my wife and unborn child. One of the younger lieutenants spoke up. What are you proposing, sir? Exile. My mother will be stripped of all positions within this organization, all assets purchased with organization funds, and all rights to the Shik family name in any official capacity. She will be removed from Seoul and will have no contact with any member of this organization. Anyone who maintains contact with her will be considered to have chosen sides against me. The room was silent. Then Elder Kim spoke. This is permanent exile. You understand that? I do. There will be no reconciliation. No path back. I know. She is your mother. She was my mother. Seung's voice was final. She stopped being my mother when she tried to murder my family. The woman who raised me would never have done what she did yesterday. That woman is already gone. I'm just making it official. Elder Cho stood. I must speak against this. The bond between mother and son is sacred in our culture. Our culture also says family protects family, Seung interrupted. She violated that principle. She faces the consequences. Another elder, Lee, spoke. Some families will see this as weakness. They'll interpret your attachment to your wife as a vulnerability. Let them. Seung's smile was cold. Let them test me. Let them think my wife is my weakness. They'll learn the same lesson my mother learned yesterday. She's not my weakness. She's my line in the sand. This could destabilize our alliances. Then we'll build new alliances with families who understand loyalty. Who understand that family means protection, not possession. Elder Minute stood. I call for a vote. All in favor of Seung Woo Shik's proposal for permanent exile of his mother from the organization and family. Hands began to rise. 1, 3, 7, 10. When the count finished, 29 in favor. 3 opposed. The motion passes, Elder Minute announced. Effective immediately, the woman formerly known as Shik Minute Hee is exiled from this organization and stripped of all titles, positions, and assets. Seung nodded once. Thank you. Seo Ho will handle the logistics. Now, there's one more thing. The room waited. Word of what happened yesterday will spread through the underworld within hours, if it hasn't already. Some families will see my choice to protect my wife as vulnerability. Some will see it as an opportunity. He looked around the room. I want to make it absolutely clear, anyone who moves against my wife, who threatens her, who even looks at her wrong, I will not just eliminate them. I will erase them. Their families. Their businesses. Their legacy. Do I make myself clear? Crystal clear, boss, Seo Ho said. Good. Because yesterday, I jumped into a pool for her. Tomorrow, I'll burn down cities. Make sure everyone understands the difference. The exile was executed with brutal efficiency. By that afternoon, his mother had been removed from the family estate. Her bank accounts, funded by organization money over decades, were frozen and transferred to a trust she couldn't access. The properties registered in her name were reclaimed. Her security detail was reassigned. She was given a small apartment in a forgettable neighborhood and enough money for exactly 1 year of basic expenses. After that, she was on her own. Seung received a final message from her that evening. You'll regret this. One day, you'll understand I was protecting you. He deleted it without responding. Within 48 hours, word spread through Seoul's underworld like a virus. Seung Woo Shik exiled his own mother for pushing his pregnant wife. He jumped into a pool in a $3,000 suit to save her. He chose the African woman over his own blood. The reactions were immediate and varied. Some families saw it as admirable, a man who protected his wife at all costs. Others saw it as exploitable weakness, a man who could be manipulated through his emotions. 3 families in particular saw opportunity. The Minute family, bitter over a territorial dispute from 2 years ago. The Choi family, ambitious and young, looking to rise. The Lee family, traditional and offended by Seung's marriage to a foreigner. They formed a quiet alliance. Nothing official. Nothing traceable. Just a mutual understanding. If Seung Woo Shik's wife was his weakness, then she was the key to destroying him. They began planning. 2 weeks passed. Juliet recovered from the shock, though Seung noticed she was quieter now. More cautious. She no longer wandered the house alone, always aware of who was nearby. "I'm fine," she insisted when he asked. "You're not." "I'm managing." She placed her hand on her stomach. "We both are. I won't let anyone hurt you again." "I know. But Seung," she looked at him. "You exiled your mother for me. The entire underworld knows it now. They'll come after me to test you. Then they'll die regretting it." "I'm serious." "So am I." He pulled her close. "Let them come. Let them all come. They'll learn what happens when someone threatens you." She leaned into him. "You can't fight the entire world. Watch me." The attack came exactly 3 weeks after the pool incident. Juliet had a routine prenatal appointment at the private hospital Seung had contracted with, the same hospital where their child would be born, secured with his own people, supposedly safe. Seung insisted on accompanying her despite Seo Ho's intelligence suggesting no imminent threats. "Something feels wrong," he told Seo Ho that morning. "Security sweep came back clean, boss. Hospitals locked down. I'm going anyway." They arrived at 10 a.m. The hospital's private wing was on the 4th floor, accessible only by private elevator with armed guards. Everything looked secure. The appointment was routine. Dr. Choi performed the ultrasound, showed them their son moving on the screen, confirmed everything was developing perfectly. "Healthy heartbeat, good size, excellent positioning," Dr. Choi said, smiling. "Another 3 months and you'll meet him." Juliet smiled, genuinely smiled, for the first time since the pool. That's when the window exploded. Seung moved on pure instinct, throwing himself over Juliet on the examination table as glass rained down. His hand found the gun in his shoulder holster even as his body shielded hers. 6 men came through the window, rappelling lines, professional gear, synchronized entry. The first one died before his boots touched the floor. Seung's bullet caught him center mass, and he dropped like a stone. The second made it 2 steps before Seung's next shot took him in the throat. But there were 4 more, and they were spreading out, trying to flank. One got past Seung's line of fire, weapon aimed directly at Juliet on the table. Time slowed. Seung saw the gun. Saw the angle. Saw that he couldn't reach the shooter in time. So he did the only thing he could. He stepped into the line of fire. The bullet hit him in the left shoulder, punching through muscle and out the back. Pain exploded white-hot, but he didn't fall. Didn't even slow down. He killed the shooter with his next shot. Then the remaining 3 in rapid succession. 6 bodies. 45 seconds. Then silence except for the ringing in his ears and Juliet screaming. "Seung. Oh God, you're shot, you're." He turned to her, blood spreading across his shoulder, gun still raised in case there were more. "Are you hurt?" "You're shot." "Are you hurt?" "No, but the baby." "The baby's fine, but you're." "Then I'm fine." He swayed slightly, caught himself on the examination table. The door burst open, Seo Ho and 4 security personnel, weapons drawn. "Boss, secure the floor," Seung ordered, his voice steady despite the blood. "Find out how the fuck they got in. And get Dr. Choi back in here." Seo Ho stared at the 6 bodies, then at Seung's shoulder. "Sir, I need Juliet and the baby checked first. Then you can patch me up." Dr. Choi returned, shaking but professional. He examined Juliet again while Seung stood guard, bleeding steadily onto the floor, refusing to sit down until he was certain she was okay. "She's fine," Dr. Choi confirmed. "No injuries. The baby's heartbeat is elevated but stable. No signs of distress." Only then did Seung allow Seo Ho to guide him to a chair. Through and through, Seo Ho assessed, cutting away the bloody shirt. You got lucky. Lucky would be them not getting inside at all. Seung looked at Juliet, who was crying silently on the table, hands on her stomach. Who sent them? We're interrogating the building's security staff now. Someone disabled the perimeter alarms. Find out who. Find out which family ordered this. Seung's voice was ice despite the pain. And then burn them to the fucking ground. Dr. Choi worked in silence, cleaning the wound, stitching entry and exit. Seung refused anesthesia. He wanted to stay alert in case there was a second wave. When it was done, his arm in a sling, he went to Juliet. She grabbed him the moment he was close enough, pulling him down, careful of his shoulder, her whole body shaking. You stepped in front of a bullet, she whispered. Yes. You could have died. Yes. Why? He pulled back to look at her. Because a world where you and our son die and I survive isn't a world I want to exist in. That's insane. That's love. She kissed him, desperate and fierce and grateful. Don't ever do that again, she said against his lips. I'll do it every single time. He rested his forehead against hers. Every single time. By that evening, Seo Ho had answers. 3 families, he reported in Seung's home office. Minute, Choi, and Lee. They formed an alliance. Coordinated strike. The plan was to kill your wife and make it look like you failed to protect her. Destroy your reputation and your will to lead in one move. Seung sat behind his desk, arm still in a sling, eyes cold. How many people involved total? 37. The 6 attackers, plus 31 in support roles, planners, financiers, the ones who bribed hospital security. Names and addresses for all of them? Already compiled, boss. Good. Seung stood. We move tonight. Sir, you're injured. I'm functional. That's enough. He looked at Seo Ho. I want every single one of them. But I don't want them dead. Not yet. Seo Ho raised an eyebrow. Sir. I want them destroyed. I want their businesses collapsed. Their assets seized. Their allies turned against them. I want them to watch everything they built crumble before I decide whether they get the mercy of death. That's extensive, boss. They tried to kill my wife. They tried to kill my son. Seung's voice was perfectly calm. Extensive is generous. The retaliation took 72 hours. It was surgical. Methodical. Devastating. The Minute family's shipping business collapsed when their licenses were revoked and their ships seized for customs violations. Their warehouses burned in simultaneous electrical fires. The Choi family's real estate holdings evaporated when deeds were challenged and liens appeared out of nowhere. Their bank accounts were frozen for investigation into money laundering. The Lee family's restaurant chain was shut down by health inspectors who found violations in every single location on the same day. Seung didn't kill them. He did something worse. He made them irrelevant. By the end of the week, all 3 family heads came crawling to Seung's estate, begging for mercy. He met with them in his office. All 3 together. Forced to share their humiliation. Please, Minute begged. We made a mistake. We'll leave Seoul. We'll disappear. You tried to kill my wife. It was a moment of madness, we thought. You thought I was weak because I love her. Seung stood. You were wrong. You didn't attack my weakness. You attacked my reason for being dangerous. He walked to the window, looked out at the city. I'm letting you live. But you're done. Your families are done. Your businesses are done. You'll spend the rest of your lives watching other people control what you built. That's your punishment. Not death. Irrelevance. Seung sighed. Please. Get out. If I see any of you in Seoul again, I'll reconsider my mercy. They left broken men. That night, Seung called a gathering every major player in Seoul's underworld. Every family head, every lieutenant, every person with power. He stood before them in the same hall where the council had voted to exile his mother. 3 weeks ago, my mother pushed my pregnant wife into a pool. You all know this. I exiled her for it. Last week, 3 families decided to test whether my wife was my weakness. They sent 6 men to kill her in a hospital. Those 6 men are dead. Those 3 families are destroyed. He let that sink in. I want to be absolutely clear about something. My wife is not my weakness. She is my line in the sand. Anyone who crosses it doesn't die quickly. They die slowly, watching everything they care about disappear first. I jumped into a pool for her. I took a bullet for her. And I will burn this entire city to the ground for her if necessary. So test me if you want. But understand, touching her doesn't make you my enemy. It makes you history. The room was silent. Then someone in the back began to applaud. Others joined. Within seconds, the entire hall was applauding not because they agreed, but because they understood. Seung Woo Shik wasn't compromised by love. He was made lethal by it. And no one would ever make the mistake of testing him again. Later that night, in their bedroom, Juliet asked him the question that had been weighing on her. Was it worth it? Everything you've lost. Seung looked at her, really looked at her. 6 months pregnant with his son. Beautiful and strong and everything he never knew he needed. I didn't lose anything, he said. I traded a cage for a kingdom. Your mother chose to be my enemy. I don't mourn enemies. 3 families destroyed. Chose to threaten you. They faced consequences. She touched his bandaged shoulder. You took a bullet for me. I'd take 1,000. That's not sustainable. He smiled. Then people should stop shooting. She kissed him softly. I love you. I know. That's why I'll never let anyone hurt you. Outside, Seoul glittered in the darkness, a city that had just learned what happened when you threatened Seung Woo Shik's family. His mother was exiled. 3 families were destroyed. 6 men were dead. And everyone now understood, Juliet wasn't his weakness. She was his consequence. Touch her, and you didn't fight Seung Woo Shik. You became a cautionary tale. 3 months later, Juliet went into labor at 2 in the morning. Seung woke to her hand gripping his arm, her breathing sharp and controlled. It's time, she said. He was out of bed instantly, already calling for the car, the security team, the medical staff. Everything moved with the precision of a military operation because it was. After the hospital attack, Seung had taken no chances. The entire 4th floor of Seoul's most secure private hospital had been converted into a fortress. 24-hour armed guards. Vetted medical staff who'd been background checked 3 times. Security cameras on every angle. Metal detectors. Biometric locks. Nothing would get through. Nothing would touch her. The convoy arrived at the hospital at 2:45 a.m. Seung never left Juliet's side, one hand holding hers, the other resting on the gun in his shoulder holster. Old habits. Dr. Choi met them in the delivery suite. Everything's progressing normally. First babies usually take time, so. His breach, another doctor interrupted, reviewing the latest ultrasound. We need to do an emergency C-section. Seung felt Juliet's hand tighten on his. Is she in danger? He asked. The baby is in distress. We need to move now. Then move. Seung looked at Juliet. You're going to be fine. Both of you. Promise me. I promise. They rushed her into surgery. Seung was forced to wait outside, the first time in 3 months he couldn't be within arm's reach of her. He paced the hallway like a caged animal. Seo-ho stood nearby, wisely silent. 15 minutes felt like 15 hours. 30 minutes felt like a lifetime. At 43 minutes, a nurse emerged. Mr. Shik. He was moving before she finished his name. Your wife is asking for you. Seung entered the recovery room to find Juliet exhausted, pale, but smiling. And in her arms, wrapped in a blue blanket, was the smallest human being he'd ever seen. It's a boy, she said softly. We have a son. Seung approached slowly, like he was walking on sacred ground. This tiny creature, barely 6 pounds, eyes closed, face scrunched, represented everything he'd fought for. Everything he'd burned bridges and destroyed families and exiled his own mother to protect. Can I? Juliet smiled. He's yours too. Seung took his son with hands that had killed 6 men 3 months ago, hands that had pulled triggers and signed death warrants, and they trembled. The baby was impossibly light. Impossibly fragile. His perfect, Seung whispered. What do we name him? Seung looked down at his son, this perfect blend of him and Juliet, of Korea and Nigeria, of everything they'd defied to create. Adam, she said, looking up at her husband with love. Both our worlds, Juliet said. Both our worlds, Seung agreed. He sat beside her bed, holding their son, and for the first time in 35 years, Seung Woo Shik felt something that had eluded him his entire life. Peace. The peace lasted exactly 18 hours. Security alerted Seung the next evening. Someone was demanding entry to the hospital. His mother. Seung handed Adam to Juliet. I'll handle this. Seung. Stay here. I'll be back. He found his mother at the hospital's main entrance, blocked by 4 armed guards. She looked diminished, older, thinner, wearing clothes that weren't tailored. 3 months of exile had carved something out of her. Please, she said when she saw him. Please let me see him. Let me meet my grandson. Seung stopped 10 feet away. Close enough to hear her. Far enough that she couldn't touch him. No. I'm your mother. You were my mother. You stopped being that the moment you pushed Juliet. It was a mistake. I was angry, I wasn't thinking. You had 8 months to think. 8 months to accept my wife. 8 months to decide if you wanted to be a grandmother. His voice was flat. Final. You chose violence instead. Now live with that choice. His mother's face crumpled. Please. I have nothing. No one. You took everything from me. No. You took everything from yourself when you tried to kill my family. I'm begging you. She dropped to her knees. Let me see him. Once. Just once. I'll never ask for anything again. Seung looked down at this woman who'd raised him, controlled him, built him into a weapon she could wield. This woman who'd given him life and then tried to take life from the woman he loved. For a moment, just a moment, he felt something. Then he remembered Juliet hitting the water. Remembered her body shaking in his arms. Remembered thinking he might lose her and their child. The feeling passed. No, he said. You don't get to be in his story. You're not his grandmother. You're a cautionary tale about what happens when you choose hate over family. If you won't forgive me, at least tell me, her voice broke. Tell me his name. Let me know what you called him. Seung considered refusing even that. Then decided she deserved to know exactly what she'd lost. Adam, he said. His mother's sob was raw and broken. Seung turned and walked away. You'll regret this, she called after him. One day you'll understand what I was trying to protect. He stopped, didn't turn around. I already understand, he said. You were protecting your control. I'm protecting my family. We're not the same. He walked back into the hospital, left her kneeling on the pavement, and never looked back. 5 years later. The compound had changed. What had once been a fortress designed to project power was now something else entirely, still secure, still protected, but warmer. There were toys in the courtyard. Children's laughter echoing through hallways that used to carry only the sound of business and violence. Seung stood on the balcony of his office, watching his son practice taekwondo forms in the garden below. Adam was 5 now, tall for his age, with Juliet's eyes and Seung's intensity. His Korean instructor corrected his stance while speaking to him in a mix of Korean and English. Again, the instructor said. Slower this time. Precision over speed. Adam nodded seriously and repeated the form. Beside him, 3-year-old Adana practiced her own chaotic version of martial arts, more enthusiastic than accurate. She had Juliet's smile and Seung's stubbornness, a dangerous combination. They're good, Juliet said, joining him on the balcony. They're ours, Seung replied. That makes them perfect. She leaned into him, and he wrapped an arm around her waist, a casual intimacy that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. The empire had transformed under their joint leadership. More international. More powerful. More stable. Juliet handled the global operations. She spoke 6 languages now and could negotiate with anyone from Abuja to Shanghai. Seung handled enforcement and domestic operations, the part that required a reputation built on fear and follow-through. Together, they were unstoppable. Adam asked about your mother again today, Juliet said quietly. Seung's jaw tightened slightly. What did you tell him? The truth. That she made choices that put her outside our family. And he accepted that. He's 5. He accepted it. But he'll ask more questions as he gets older. Then we'll answer them. Honestly. Seung watched his son below. I won't lie to him about what she did. Or about why she's not in his life. She wrote again, Juliet said. The letter came this morning. How many is that? 43 in 5 years. And you've read them all? Someone has to know what she's saying. Juliet turned to look at him. She's dying, Seung. Cancer. Maybe 6 months. He felt nothing. Tried to feel something. Came up empty. Is she asking to see him? She's asking to see you. To apologize. To make peace before she dies. No. I'm not suggesting you say yes. I'm just telling you what she wrote. Seung was quiet for a long moment. Do you think I'm wrong? Keeping her away? I think you're protecting our children from someone who demonstrated she's willing to harm family when she doesn't get her way. Juliet touched his face. I think you're being the father your mother never let you have. That doesn't answer my question. No, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're doing exactly what a father should do, putting your children first, even when it hurts. It doesn't hurt. Liar. She kissed him softly. It's okay to grieve what she could have been. I grieved that 5 years ago when she pushed you. He pulled her closer. I made my choice. I don't regret it. Below, Adam completed his form perfectly. His instructor applauded, and the boy's face lit up with pride. He's so much like you, Juliet observed. God help us both, Seung muttered, making her laugh. What if she wants to apologize to me? He suddenly asked. Do you want her apology? Juliet thought about it. No. I don't think I do. An apology now feels like she's trying to ease her own guilt, not actually make amends. Then we're agreed. She made her choices. We made ours. They don't intersect anymore. The children will ask more questions. And we'll answer them. Honestly. They'll understand that family isn't just blood, it's choice and protection and love. They'll understand because we're showing them every day. Juliet leaned against him. We built something good, didn't we? We built something permanent. 6 months later, Seung received a package. Inside was a letter from his mother. He almost threw it away unread. Juliet stopped him. Read it. Not for her. For you. So you never wonder. He opened it. Seung. I'm dying. You probably already know this. Elder Park has been kind enough to keep me informed about your life, even though you've made it clear you want nothing to do with me. I've spent 5 years trying to write the perfect apology. Trying to find words that would make you understand, make you forgive, make you let me back in. I finally realized, there are no such words. What I did was unforgivable. I pushed your pregnant wife into a pool because I was angry that she'd taken you from me. Except she didn't take you. I pushed you away by trying to control you. I spent 35 years building you into the perfect son, the perfect leader, the perfect weapon. And then you met a woman who saw you as a man instead of a machine, and I couldn't stand it. I was wrong. Juliet didn't weaken you. She completed you. Your children didn't divide your loyalty. They multiplied it. I see that now. Too late, but I see it. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm not asking to meet my grandchildren. I lost that right when I tried to harm them. I'm just asking that you tell them the truth about me. Not to excuse what I did, but so they understand, family is a choice. And I chose wrong. You chose right. I'm sorry I never told you I was proud of you. I'm sorry I tried to own you instead of loving you. I'm sorry I lost you by trying to keep you. Be happy, my son. Love your wife. Raise your children. Build your empire. And forget I ever existed. Your mother. Seung read it twice. Felt nothing. Then felt everything. Then felt nothing again. What does it say? Juliet asked. She apologized. Said she was wrong. Said I chose right. He folded the letter. It doesn't change anything. No, it doesn't. But at least she understood. At the end. What she lost. Does that matter to you? Seung thought about it. Really thought about it. It doesn't matter. Because understanding doesn't undo harm. It just means she died knowing she destroyed herself. 3 months later. Seung stood on his balcony, watching the city lights spread out below. 8 years since he'd jumped into a pool. 8 years since he'd exiled his mother. 8 years since he'd chosen love over obligation and built something permanent from that choice. Behind him, through the window, he could see his family. Adam, now 8, reading in Korean and Igbo with equal fluency. Adana, 6, drawing elaborate pictures of families that always included a father, mother, brother, and sister, never grandparents. Juliet, reviewing documents for tomorrow's negotiation in Singapore, glasses perched on her nose, looking exactly as she had the day he met her. His empire was stronger than ever. His family was safe. His choices had been vindicated by time and survival. Somewhere in Seoul, there was probably a small headstone with his mother's name. He'd never visited it. Never would. She'd made her choice 8 years ago when she pushed Juliet. He'd made his choice when he jumped in after her. Everything since then has been a consequence. Juliet joined him on the balcony, sliding under his arm naturally. What are you thinking about? She asked. How different everything could have been. Regrets? None. Just observation. If I'd listened to everyone who warned me about you, you'd be miserable and alone with an empire you hated. Exactly. He pulled her closer. Instead, I'm moderately content with an empire I tolerate and a family I'd destroy the world for. Moderately content. She elbowed him. I'm moderately content. Fine. You're adequate. Adequate. He laughed, genuinely laughed, and kissed her. You're everything. You know that. Say it again. You're everything. One more time. You're everything that matters. She smiled, leaned into him, and they stood together watching the city that had learned 8 years ago. Seung Woo Shik wasn't weak because he loved. He was unstoppable because of it. Behind them, their children's laughter filtered through the window. In front of them, a city full of people who'd learned that touching his family meant becoming history. And between them, a love built not on flowers and poetry, but on bullets and choices and the unwavering certainty that some things were worth burning the world for. His mother had been right about one thing. Juliet had destroyed him. She'd destroyed the man his mother made him to be. And from those ashes, he'd become something she never imagined. A man who chose love and became legendary. A king who knelt for no one except the woman beside him and the children they'd created. A legend built not on fear alone, but on the absolute certainty that family, chosen family, was the only empire that mattered. Come inside, Juliet said. Adana wants you to read her bedtime story. Which one? The one about the brave princess who saves herself. She's obsessed with that one. I wonder why, Juliet said dryly, looking at him with amusement. Seung smiled, let her pull him back inside, back to the chaos and noise and messy perfection of the family they'd built against all warnings. His mother had said choosing Juliet would end his bloodline. She'd been right. It ended the bloodline of cowards and puppets and men who let others choose their destiny. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more thrilling stories.